Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasting.
Hi, I'm Ashley, a true crime fanatic.
I'm Dan, and I don't know anything about true crime.
Together, we host Fuck That, a true crime podcast that covers cases that highlight important topics that are often overlooked, such as wrongful convictions, domestic violence, and social inequities, sprinkled in with the occasional case with spooky themes. If you are looking for your next true crime fix delivered candidly with a hint of sarcasm, you can listen and subscribe to bi-weekly episodes of Fuck That wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to give us a follow on Facebook and Twitter at @FThatPod and at @FThat_pod on Instagram.
Devil is on his way, devil is on his way, devil is on his way, motherfucker, the devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees, devil is on his way. Fall to your knees, devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees, devil is on his way. Motherfucker, he's on his...
Hey, y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Hey, is everybody recovering from their post-Thanksgiving
Food coma.
bliss?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to be honest, I've eaten way too much the past few days. My diet needs a diet.
Yes, definitely. My belly needs a break.
I shouldn't have eaten that lasagna twice.
Hey, Olive Garden is the gift that keeps on giving, right?
Man, people be talking shit about the Olive Garden, but I think it's good.
I think it's pretty good
It's
for
consistent.
it's a, what would you call that? Fast casual dining?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's consistent. You know, you can go to any Olive Garden anywhere in the United States and you're going to get food that tastes the same.
Yeah, wow.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like some places you go and you're like, ugh, you know, this food is so inconsistent. Like your local neighborhood spot. Sometimes maybe it's a little hit or miss, right? You can get a great meal. Other times you're like, wow, this is a little off. But I feel like when you go to some of these big chain restaurants, you get consistency.
Right.
Now, it may not be the most amazing meal you've ever had in your life, but it's always going to be up to a certain level.
Sometimes it's consistently bad,
Well, there's that.
but you almost have an expectation of it. You know that, right? And you're still coming there, so you're okay with it.
Well, I heard somebody the other day trashing Red Lobster. Like, nobody likes Red Lobster. And I'm like, what? I know lots of people who love Red Lobster.
Yeah, I don't know why people are going to slam Red Lobster. I think it's I've only been there a time or two in my
I
life.
think I've only been there once, but
No.
I liked it.
But it was good. And,
I like those little biscuits.
Yeah, and, you know, they were famously brought the seafood experience inland to Middle America,
There
right?
you go, bud.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to get a Gordon's Fisherman frozen shrimp dinner
Where you
called
going
out for you on a plate?
all you can eat shrimp for $11.
Is that true?
Well, they had that one promotion that they lost like $11 million on.
Oh, I was excited. Like, we're going to eat shrimp tonight.
Well, see, the thing is they had, of course, you know how it goes in the boardroom meetings, and when they're coming up with these grand ideas, a lot of times they don't have a feel for the real world where the rubber meets the road, right? And I think if they probably polled servers and managers of restaurants, they might have came up with a different number, but they had it in their mind that people basically would only eat so much shrimp. But
They've never met me.
people don't roll like that when it comes to shrimp, crab legs, things of that nature. They will,
I could eat some shrimp.
they will gorge themselves beyond comfort just to, you know, keep eating that.
I will eat a pound of steamed or boiled shrimp like nobody's business. Like, that shit's going away in like 5 seconds.
So they're going to lose money on you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, Dylan, we are into the month of December. Holidays just around the corner, and we are, you know, keeping up with our theme. December's theme is cold nights, cold cases. All month long, we will be discussing some of the most troubling cold cases
I gotta
up
say,
and down the East Coast.
I'm kind of glad we're leaving the family annihilators in our rearview mirror. because those cases were so tough to talk about.
They really are. Yeah. Well, this is not going to be an easy case to discuss, Dylan, because it is equally as tragic, a very sad story, but important to keep the case out there. That's one of the reasons why, I like to talk about cold cases. A lot of folks don't enjoy a cold case because there's no conclusion. There's no, justice at the end of the story. And I understand that. But what I like about, as much as you could like something about it, but what I guess like about a cold case is that you are bringing a fresh set of eyes to the case, and you're introducing your audience, your listeners, to a case maybe they've never heard of, and it keeps the victims' names out there, and it keeps the case alive. Yeah,
and you know what I find interesting? Recently, a classroom of criminology students solved a cold case. They were given the file, the complete file, and they combed through it, and sure enough, found some details in there that actually led to a break in the case. And that's common.
Yeah, like the redheaded murders, a pretty well-known serial killer unsolved. There was a group of college students who were able to kind of bust that case wide open.
Yeah, and I find it interesting because 9 times out of 10, the details and the information to solve the case is in the case file. And it just needs that fresh perspective, that fresh set of eyes to maybe come at it from a different angle. Because I think, we're all human. Investigators, that they do the same thing.
You ain't wrong, Dylan.
Well, most of us are human. But we develop ideas and theories. And as professional, you can try to be as professional and objective as possible. But sometimes it's impossible. It's hard to get away from those theories and ideas once you develop them, right?
Yeah, I think you can get tunnel vision. You're kind of looking at the same information over and over and over again, and it's just not speaking to you in a way it might speak to someone who's never seen the details before.
And I understand it from their perspective. If you interview someone and they have a terrible interview, and it's making you suspicious that possibly maybe they're the perpetrator, it's kind of hard to shake that. You know what I mean? Even though it could be they just were nervous, or they had something else to hide, but not necessarily about your case. But if you're in person in the room with that person, it would be hard to get away from that feeling.
Right. And again, we're all human, so it's hard, I think, for maybe investigators to go into a situation where they are completely objective. Because again, we're humans, we have preconceived notions. They say first impressions, really matter.
Right.
So, all that makes a difference.
And from watching those homicide shows, the various ones, you're watching all these seasoned detectives, and I feel like the best ones are the ones who seem to have absolutely no problem
starting over,
yep. Even if they're weeks or months, maybe even years into this case, they have no problem. It doesn't seem to bother them one bit to be back at square one.
Dylan, we're going to move along here in just a second, but mentioning that, I discovered a new series on Hulu. It's called Homicide New Orleans, and it's just the one season. I think it's like 11 or 12 episodes, but it's a lot like the first 48 in that, it follows detectives as they solve, a murder. Really interesting show. Just listening to some of these detectives talk, you can see that they put their heart into their work. They really care about their community. They really want to solve these murders. But one of the saddest observations I've made just watching this show, because I'll be honest, I've binged it over the weekend. Just every time I'm working out or whatever, I've turned on an episode. And so I finished it today. And I'm like, oh, sad, because it's only the one season. But so often these murders are senseless.
They're over the dumbest
It'll
reasons.
Just be the dumbest shit.
Right. Just because
so you take a life, and then your life is essentially ruined. You're going to go to prison for the rest of your life over something really stupid, like somebody drove by in a car that you don't like. I'm not kidding.
Or you heard that someone was arguing with someone else. You don't know any of the parties involved, but then one of your friends gives you a gun and you go with
Come
them
on, let's
somewhere
go shoot these people up.
and you shoot up a random house and then kill.
And you don't even know the victim.
Yeah, I mean, it really blows my mind, and I would never be on board for any of that type of behavior. But what's so scary about it is there's so many people that are
willing.
Yeah,
the willingness
exactly
to pick up a weapon and kill someone for the slightest, just the slightest little thing.
If I got in a car with some buddies, they're like, everybody's got guns, and they're like, hey, we're going to go ride by this random house that you've never seen, and we're all going to shoot our guns at it. I mean, what?
Well, look, I grew up around a bunch of rednecks, so the possibility of getting in the vehicle and it being full of guns is like not so strange to me. But it's usually like, get in the car, we got all these guns, and we're going to go looking for some raccoons. We're going to go coon hunting. Got the dogs in the back of the truck.
Yeah, but they would never ever say we're going to go shoot at this random house.
No, I've never been in that situation before. All right, Dylan, are you ready to get into today's cold case? This one is, wow. I think it's gonna leave a mark on you.
Okay.
Right? Are you familiar with Blacksburg, Virginia?
I've heard of it.
Well, Blacksburg is a small mountain town in the New River Valley of Southwest Virginia. It is consistently ranked as one of the best college towns in the country. Blacksburg definitely has the vibe, what you would think of like a classic college town, the energy. You've got, the youthful, active, kind of community-driven folks. Surrounded by the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Allegheny Mountains, outdoor life is popular from hiking to fishing. Around 45,000 people live in town, but this jumps when the college is in session. You get a whole, kind of new group of thousands of, folks coming on in the city, moving on in.
Yeah, and I think that's what's interesting about college towns, true college towns, is a lot of times they're little sleepy towns for the most part. And then when all the students and faculty converge for a semester, you get all these different points of views and different personalities, and it's usually creates a very dynamic kind of atmosphere, right?
Well, it does seem that students and locals mix seamlessly in Blacksburg with little drama. Virginia Tech is located in Blacksburg and is known for its engineering, life sciences, and military heritage. The engineering program is often in the top 15 nationally for undergraduate programs.
Okay, they got smart kids up there.
Virginia Tech is known for its sports culture. The football team is huge.
Yeah, they're always in the mix, right?
Lane Stadium is known as one of the loudest places in college football.
Yeah, sometimes, a lot of times it has to do with architecture or the way the stadiums are designed, but it creates a really wild experience, and you'll have teams say, oh, Lord, if you go there and play.
Oh, man. A good example of that is if you're on Lake Kiwi in South Carolina, you can hear the crowd at Death Valley Stadium when Clemson's football team is playing.
Really?
If you're out on the lake, you can still hear the roar of the crowd.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's kind of a surreal feeling, to hear this huge group of people, everybody's going nuts, and you're like out on the lake.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
That's a little eerie.
All right, so college football, big in Blacksburg. A lot of Virginia Tech fans out there. Heidi Childs and David Metzler had known each other for many years, having attended the same church youth group in nearby Lynchburg, Virginia. Heidi was the fourth of 8 children, homeschooled mostly in a religious household. Her family lived in Forest, a small town, until she was in her early teens, and that's when the family moved to Lynchburg. Her father, Don, was a helicopter pilot with the Virginia State Police.
Well, that sounds like a cool job.
Heidi was a talented young woman who played guitar and sang, although she didn't really like being the center of attention. She was talented, but also maybe had a little stage fright.
Have you ever known anybody like that?
Yeah, of course. An avid outdoors woman, Heidi enjoyed skiing, hiking, and camping. Heidi's nickname was Smiley because from the time she was born, she always had a big smile on her face. Just a real, happy-go-lucky girl. Heidi had been a standout cross-country runner on like a homeschool team. So she's a standout athlete. And though she had a big family and was kind of, squished there in the middle, that middle child thing going on, Heidi adored her siblings. The child's children were very close, having been homeschooled together. They spent a lot of time together, and just a really close-knit family.
Yeah, I'm sure that would strengthen your family ties, right? If you're basically experiencing the whole day together. Your siblings are, for the most part, your social
like
network.
Built-in friends.
Yeah. But I do think it's really good that a lot of these homeschool parents are creating like these pods where they can still go and do extracurricular things. And I didn't even know that they went so far as to maybe put sports leagues together, which is pretty cool. So the kids can still get that experience.
Yeah, we actually have, I guess you could call it a pod. There's a group of homeschool parents and their children who meet in the park across the street a couple days a week.
They do.
And do activities, Dylan.
Yeah. They teach their kids things like not allowing other people to get into their driveways.
Well, yeah. Well, just because they take up the whole street parking. Oh, come on. You're being an old girl.
God love them. Enjoy yourself.
Let the kids be, Dylan.
Enjoy yourself.
You're such a crotchety old man.
I'm trying not to be, but I really have turned into...
Yes, you have. But I mean, I'm right there with you.
Right.
Right? But the other night we were out. Well, you had been raking leaves all day.
Yeah.
Which I'm just going to say this. I find raking leaves to be ridiculous because leaves fall from the trees and they're supposed to be on the ground.
So you would just leave them in place and not do a thing about
them? Yeah. It's just... That's the way the Lord intended it.
Yeah, and I feel that way for the most part, but I like to get them away from my doorways and where I park my car because you track it everywhere.
Well, whatever. You're out there raking the yard, which good on you.
Old school.
Yeah.
Just a rake.
I offered to buy a leaf blower.
Nope.
She was like, nope, I'm going to get this quality rake and I'm going to do some work.
I'm going to splurge on a solid rake, a well-built rake, and I'm just going to rake.
You really evaluated the rakes. I mean, we were in the home goods store for a minute while you perused the rakes.
Right quick. Can I say, used to, especially in tools and, working implements for the yard.
Used to.
You had
some, years before.
You had distinct categories, right? You had super cheap, it's flimsy, it might only last a season or two. If you put a lot of pressure on things when you sweep or rake,
don't break.
You might break it, right? But it was super cheap. And then you had a middle category, and you had a very expensive category. This is a rake that you might pass down to your grandkids, right? It's going to have
sturdy built,
fiberglass handle, quality tines on the other end of the rake there. It's a good rake. But nowadays there's no cheap category. The cheap crappy rake
is still $50.
Is only a few bucks, $10 less than the super good rake. So you got to splurge on rakes. You got to splurge on tools.
Right. So on with our story. You've been out there raking. I was in the house doing, inside things. Because we love traditional gender roles around here. I'm going to let you do the hard work out in the yard while I pretend that I'm doing things inside.
You kept telling me that I would help.
Yeah.
But you didn't come out there to help.
But then I just wrapped all the Christmas presents, which is hard work in itself.
Well, it's fine with me. I like my alone time.
So we go out. We put up our Christmas lights. We've got a couple little inflatables, all that, decorating for Christmas. And a few houses down is an Airbnb. We see people come and go, right? Well, it seems like someone had rented this Airbnb for a birthday party, like a kid's birthday party. So we see all these parents come. They're dropping off kids. I would say, maybe 12, 13 years old?
Yeah, something like
age
that.
Group. Well, then all of a sudden, this pack of kids just runs down the road, right in front of our house and over to the park, screaming at the top of their lungs, like being the loudest they could possibly be. And crotchety old Dylan just looks at me and is like, incensed.
What? Look, you're making me sound like an asshole, and maybe I am, but I'd been enjoying a quiet winter day, Our neighborhood's rather quiet.
It is quiet.
There is a park across the street. We hear kids over there playing. That's fine.
Children's laughter.
I want the kids to
echoing.
play.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you got a screamer in the bunch of kids.
Mhm.
And I don't know why the one kid's got to scream and try to be extra.
I don't know.
It's attention-seeking behavior.
See, I feel like you were that kid because you got to be the center of attention.
I was
you
not.
Loud.
I
You
was
never
not.
stop talking.
Anyway, kids play in the park. That's fine. I don't say anything about that. That doesn't bother me. Right?
Right. But when you have a dozen 12 or 13-year-old kids just screaming as they run down the street and are over at the park screaming at the top of their
Well, they
lungs.
run to a park.
I mean,
Look, the park's not age appropriate, okay?
it's for little kids.
Yes.
It's for little ass kids. You ain't fitting on that swing.
We'll just move on. I know I sound like a dick.
You're going to get stuck in that slide, kid.
So I loudly said, "Hey, Heather, do you think that kids do you have to teach your children to be that obnoxious, or do you think it comes naturally?" And I'm guessing the people might have heard because
Yeah, there were parents walking down the street too. Because I'm just like, really, you're just gonna let these
I don't know.
kids do a neighborhood takeover?
It's whatever.
I mean, there are people just trying to enjoy their Saturday.
That's the people
But
that when
cool.
they rent something, they feel like everything's got to be about them. They're all walking around people's yards and looking in people's house, looking in the house, and it's like, what are you doing?
Look, I love your little grinchy bah humbug self.
Anyway, let's
Okay?
move on.
You can be as curmudgeonly as you want around me. As an honor roll student, Heidi earned a full academic scholarship to the prestigious Virginia Polytechnic Institute, also known as Virginia Tech.
Wow.
She had taken many dual credit classes since she was a sophomore, and this provided her with a head start, enrolling in college already with college credit under her belt. Heidi was majoring in biochemistry. Impressive. That's not an easy major, right?
No, it
It's
sounds
not exactly like basket weaving.
No, it sounds like she's very smart.
I could never do biochemistry.
No, I had a
I'm terrible because you have to do math. That's
When-
why I was terrible at chemistry.
when I was at the paper mill, I had a supervisor. His son had enrolled in a mechatronics program.
Yeah.
And dude, that is like science, engineering, and big boy math all mixed together.
Wow.
And I was like, and if you get one of these degrees now, you can go on into like the oil industry and all these different industries and like basically come in. It's kind of like doing ROTC your whole high school career, and then you go into the military and you're already up a few ranks. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. And I was just blown away by even being able to do any of that kind of workload.
When you take one of those career assessments and it tells you like what you'd be good at, it's just like recommended that I go to like clown college.
Is that what
You'd be good at clowning. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's true.
it comes natural?
Because she can't do math. Now, David lived in China with his family where they served as missionaries, which I think is really cool. And it doesn't sound like they just lived in China. They had lived in a couple other places as well.
No, the people, I've always been impressed by people who go on these, and I know it can be trendy to a degree sometimes, but you do see people that they truly do see it as they're being called.
Well, you live there. That's different than like
Right.
the groups going over for a week
Vacationing.
to build a roof.
To
or
take
something.
social media pictures
Well-
and post them. But no, when you see these people that give large chunks of their lives and they go and do these
Well,
long-term
his father was a
projects.
doctor.
Right.
So I'm assuming like his father probably, was practicing medicine as part of maybe the mission. He had 3 older sisters who looked out for him. He was the only boy in the family. So, of course, they're doting on their brother. Upon their return to the United States, the family settled in Lynchburg, where David was also an ambitious young person, much like Heidi. Described as quiet and a bit shy, David was athletic. He enjoyed playing golf, basketball, and soccer. And people said that was kind of like the only time he seemed to really come out of his shell. Like when he was on the field, he's really competitive and he's like a different person.
Okay.
Like that shyness just goes away and he's just like all in competitor. David and his father enjoyed hunting together. During his teens, David took up woodworking and even helped his dad build like this custom gun cabinet for their hunting rifles.
Nice.
Which is super cool. Like Heidi, he was also into guitar. He could play guitar. David had also enrolled at Virginia Tech, majoring in industrial and system engineering. Heidi and David worked together at an ice cream shop and started dating just after high school. The pair were a great fit. I mean, he was handsome, she was beautiful. They're both intelligent, talented, and strong in their faith. People described them as being a great team. And although they had known each other for a while, I think, for some years, it was during freshman year at college that they decided to make this relationship like a romantic relationship, and we're going to make it official. David even asked Donald Childs for permission to date his daughter.
I respect that.
David was really nervous about approaching Donald, but Heidi's dad was happy and gave the couple his blessing. David was just the kind of young man that a dad would want for his daughter. They were both godly young people and had a desire to serve the Lord.
Now, do you think the girl should go to the mom and ask if they can date the son? Or marry the son?
Well, sure, why not?
I know, right?
Sure. I mean, if she wants to make that mistake and marry him, then that's up to her.
Man, I saw this.
If I wouldn't ask your mom would be like, take him, please. Your mom was just glad to get rid of your ass.
Oh, come on. I've been gone.
She texts me all the time like, I'm so glad he's with you, ... because that means he's not here.
I mean, that's inaccurate. My mom wasn't dragging me around anywhere. I've been gone out of her house.
She just wants to make sure you stay gone.
No, I saw this woman, and she was like, I just saw my son's, the girl my son is dating, and she's fat. And like the woman's like,
what?
Looking like she has crying face. And people in the comments like, this can't be real. Like, this is crazy. Like, if you're being serious right now on this TikTok.
Is that the story?
Yeah. And people are like, what do you do? What do you love your son? Like, this is giving creep vibes, You ever seen these overly?
Oh, gosh. Like these mothers who are like in some kind of emotionally like incestuous relationship with their sons?
Yeah.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
No, and they want to show you how to make his favorite food exactly the way he wants it and blah this, and they dote on their son. It's way over the top.
Look, I was in a relationship one time with a fella who had this kind of thing going on with his mom, and it was very weird. Like when you're a grown-ass adult man and you live on your own and you have a job, you have a career, whatever, and you're like, mommy comes over to like do your laundry is really weird to me.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, but I mean, it's whatever floats your boat. But
no,
I think it's odd.
Weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Well, and on the other side, it can be the overly. That's my baby. That's my little princess, daddy.
I'm gonna bring a shotgun out here and put it in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, calm down, bro. Well,
Yeah, you're gonna put on this purity ring and pledge your virginity to your daddy.
That. Hey,
I'm sorry.
Look,
and maybe there's someone out there right now who's looking down at their purity ring like, Heather, you just don't understand. And maybe I don't, because like my dad's a piece of shit and I would never pledge my purity or like pledge anything to him except like maybe my, hatred. So, yeah, but it's just very odd to me because especially why would you, pledge your virginity to your father?
I don't mean to offend, and maybe we don't get it, but that has always
maybe someone can explain it to me.
Seemed very strange to me. As like, are you going to frame your hymen and give it to him?
Look, people can do what they want to do.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And if you want to frame your hymen and give that to your dad as a gift, that's fine.
I bronzed my hymen, Daddy. You can hang it from your rearview mirror.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's up to you. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me. Just like I'm sure people out there, there's a lot of shit that I do that they're like, that makes no sense, Heather.
Right.
Because you're a whore. You should have pledged your purity to your daddy. I mean, I don't know. It's fine. Moving along. Heidi and David often played guitar together at Heritage Baptist Church services. On August 26th of 2009, just 2 days after Heidi's sophomore year began at Virginia Tech, she made a big decision. Heidi enrolled in the pre-med program, changing her major.
Oh, wow.
From biochemistry to pre-med. She was really excited about this, immediately called her parents to tell them the good news. Heidi had valued their opinion, and she kind of just wanted to check in before meeting with an advisor the next day, I guess to totally finalize the plan.
Yeah, and I respect that, even though she's an adult at this point, and she can certainly make these decisions for herself. But she values her parents' input, and I think that would be great. That would be a great relationship to have with your parents.
David had wanted to take Heidi on what he called a special date, camping about 15 miles away from campus. David had previously been to this area that is known as Caldwell Fields Campground in Jefferson National Forest. He'd been there for a men's retreat. He'd enjoyed it so much that he could not wait to take Heidi out there because, again, she loves the outdoors, loves camping, hiking. She's into all of it.
Okay.
He's into so it sounds like they really are like a perfect fit.
Well, it always helps if you have a shared interest with your partner, right?
I wish she would take me camping.
I think it's almost necessary for you to have a certain amount of shared interest as a couple, don't you think?
I don't know. Do we have any shared interests?
Well, yeah.
Like snacking and napping?
Well, you tell me what we're going to do, and
Yeah.
I agree to it.
Okay. So that's how we share interest?
No, I feel like we like similar things.
We like dead things in jars.
Well, we can just go walk around the cemetery or walk around some small mill town and, abandoned factories or stuff like that. Taking pictures and never post them anywhere. But we took them.
We love to thrift.
Like thrifting.
For tacky things, right? So, yeah, I guess we have some things in common. We like horror movies. We both like soup.
That's true.
I'm sorry. I think of a Best in Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do both like soup.
Yeah. She's like, we both like soup. Okay. So anyway, he couldn't wait to take her there. And he told Heidi, you got to wear comfortable clothing and bring your guitar. So it almost sounds like it's a surprise as well. So she doesn't really maybe know what they're going to do.
Okay.
This campground is located off Craig Creek Road. There's a gravel parking lot, and it's a popular spot for hikers, tourists, and college students. Caldwell Fields is a group campground with two large open meadows named George Fields and Milton Fields. It sits alongside Craig Creek, which adds kind of a nice water feature to the site. Campers enjoy wading in the cold water or fishing for trout. It's a rustic, or what some folks would call a primitive campground, Dylan. No real amenities, very minimal amenities, so you're not going to be glamping here. You're not going to be able to bring your hair dryer, your roller set. That's not going to work.
This is what camping's always meant to me.
Your manscaper, like none of that.
And I understand the need for a site with maybe more amenities, access to showers, maybe something for the young people, the kids to get together and do, maybe a little arcade, or I get that. But it really blows me away when you go to these glamping places. And for one, the prices. Like, even if I want a tent camp, it's like $60 a night.
Actually, that's not even glamping. That's just like a regular state park where we're from.
Well, yeah, it's gotten high now. But, yeah, anyway, this is what camping is.
You mean like a KOA or something?
Yeah, KOA.
See, that's not even really glamping. Glamping is like when you go get in one of those like geodesic domes.
Well, I mean, that's the upper end of it.
It's like $400 a night.
Well, yeah, but at these KOAs, you see a $200,000 RV backed in there, but I'm just like, why are you doing this?
And
because
you can rent those little cabins.
They got a 50-inch screen TV flipped up on the outside of it. They just happen to have a campfire going.
You're just jealous. You see, you're being a hater because you.
I'm
wish
not
you had
hating. I don't. I mean, I would use it to go to festivals and stuff. Would be awesome.
You're just mad because you have to sleep on the cold, hard ground air mattress when you go camping.
Maybe I am hating just a little bit.
You are. I know you.
Damn them people.
Because you would love to be piled up in that thing with some AC running.
Yeah. Maybe I want to play PlayStation.
Okay, so you're truly getting like a back to nature experience at this campground. Caldwell Fields is in Jefferson National Forest, which I mentioned, and it's adjacent to George Washington National Forest. Together, this makes up one of the largest tracts of public forest land east of the Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
Mount Rogers is the highest point in Virginia at 5,729 feet. Jefferson National Forest offers over 2,200 miles of trails woven throughout, and this includes 325 miles of the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, wow.
Just some fun facts for you, Dylan.
Sounds like, yeah, I love Virginia. You know, we rode up through there.
Yeah.
And it really just, it feels like Appalachia.
We rode up through there. Yes, I have driven through Virginia and visited Virginia multiple times, Dylan. But yes, we did drive. We did drive through there one time and stay on a. Yeah, we did.
No, but I'm saying it's the only time I've been through Virginia. Okay, forgive me. But it feels I felt at home because it feels like the mountains I've spent a lot of my life in.
It was hot as hell.
Yeah.
And I remember the lake water was hot as hell, and I don't like that part. How you in the damn mountains and you got a hot ass lake?
Look,
I don't want no hot lake water.
Not everybody's from a mountain spring headwater county, Heather.
Look, my water's, if I'm going to get in the lake, it needs to be cold. It does not need to be, the water does not need to be warmer than the temperature outside the water.
Yeah, but you come from a place where you have to wait till mid-July before you even dip a toe in a river or creek because the water will literally make you pass out. It's so cold.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
God,
about.
It's so good in the hot summer, though.
I love it. This area is also like kind of known for being spotty with cell phone signals. Once you're out there, kind of out there.
And that's camping, bud.
Not able to make, well, I mean, you got to think about making an emergency call.
Well, that's true.
Which could maybe come into play in our case. So David and Heidi piled into his 1992 Camry, heading to the campground just before 8:30 p.m. They both had early mornings, so there had not been any intention to like stay up late. They're going to get out to the campground. I'm assuming camp for the night. And
enjoy the evening.
And then get up early. They got to be at school.
Oh.
Well, I don't know.
That would suck, but okay, I got it.
Man, we had a friend in college. It was my bestie's boyfriend. He would go camping all the time, like, and then come.
Like in the middle of the week?
Yeah, and go to class, get back to school at like 8 a.m. and go to class. And he'd be like, yeah, I went up Water Rock Knob and camped last night. We'd be like, what?
Okay.
Okay. Good for you.
It just enjoys being out.
Yes. Now, Heidi had some concerns about this pre-med program, knowing it meant that the couple would have less time together. And when she'd mentioned this to her mother, Laura, her mom was like, you just need to talk to him about this. You know, you guys are a great couple. He's, seems to be really supportive and understanding. Just, you're going to have to talk this out.
Well, yeah, but you're both in college. So to some degree, you have similar goals. And surely it would be easier to have that discussion about maybe sacrificing now so, we can get through this to have a better life together later.
And Heidi was planning to have this conversation once they reached the campground. Now, the next morning on August 27th, this was a cool morning. At 8 a.m., a local man who took regular morning walks with his dogs in the area stopped in the parking lot. He was the only person around, but he did notice a navy blue 1992 Camry parked in the lot. And for whatever reason, the man thought there was something kind of suspicious about the car.
Oh, really?
So he walked over to check things out. And look, I'm nosy, so I'd probably do the same because I like to know what's going on.
Now, I wonder what caught his attention, though.
Well, I don't know if it was just like maybe the way it was parked or I don't really have that detail, Dylan, but there was something about it that seemed out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So he goes over to check things out, and that's when he made a startling discovery. In the driver's seat, he found the deceased body of a young man. A young woman was just outside the car on the passenger side, on the ground just a few feet away. It appears she had attempted to run away.
Damn.
The man could see a bullet hole through the driver's side window.
Oh, my God. I mean, so, God, I would be so surprised. At first you're just like, oh, that seems a little weird. And then you're kind of being a little nosy, and you go to investigate. And then very quickly discover two dead bodies. I mean, that would blow me away.
Since the man had no cell phone service at the parking lot, he drove out to make a call. The man called, the police. He reported the murders. Now, it didn't take long for Montgomery County Sheriff's deputies, along with Virginia State Police, to arrive. Using the license plate on the Camry, investigators learned the car belonged to 19-year-old David Metzler. As they assessed the crime scene, investigators could see that David had been sitting in the driver's seat. He was slumped over. Heidi was outside, laying just a few feet away from the Camry. Both of them were deceased from apparent gunshot wounds. In the back seat of the car, police found a guitar. Very tragic situation.
Yeah, well, you have this young couple. They have their whole future ahead of them. She's excited about changing her major.
Well, this is a recreational area. People go out to recreate there. You're not thinking your life is in danger at a place like this?
Yeah, I know. And that's what I've always found a bit almost strange and eerie about these types of places, because they're very desolate usually, limited communication. You never know when you might see someone else, depending on where you are. Of course, that changes by, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, you literally might not see anybody for days. I mean, I don't know. But it's also, you're very vulnerable when you're in these places. But they're always, people aren't thinking about that. You know what I mean? They're thinking about hiking or the fun things they want to do, the camping and stuff like that, go up a trail. But you really are in a vulnerable position when you're in these places, these trailheads, or way out or way up on a parkway or something like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're out on a trail, there's not a lot of places you can go or retreat.
There's no help so far away.
And yeah.
And you're not in a
and
busy
there's
place.
Other risks.
Right.
You don't want to run off trail to get away from somebody because you could get injured. You
get lost.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. The crime scene is disturbing and even strange for law enforcement officials. Law enforcement recognized that Caldwell Fields was out of the way. I mean, it's not a completely isolated area, but to get there, a person travels on a dirt road, like out to this parking area.
So it's not right off the main road?
No.
Okay.
The parking area acts as a bit of an overlook, and it's actually called a designated viewing area, because some visitors often will just stay in this parking area to view wildlife like deer and birds and not even bother with like getting out of the car, going off trail. They'll just congregate kind of in the parking area.
Yeah, that's common in a lot of places like this.
Law enforcement determined the deceased female was Heidi Childs. David and Heidi's families were contacted. Laura Childs shared that the couple had gone to Caldwell Fields around 8:30 p.m. the previous evening. She detailed the phone call that had taken place earlier in the day, and sadly, it was the last time that she would ever speak to her daughter. David's parents explained that he had visited the campground a few years earlier, and he'd been saying, he really wanted to take Heidi there. With the guitar in the back seat, investigators determined it was likely the couple had never even made it out of the car that evening. If Heidi and David were like walking back to the car and then ambushed, it would have been unlikely that the guitar would have been placed in the back seat.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I get what they're saying, but what if they made it all the way back to the car, had packed everything back up, and then were ambushed?
I mean, I guess that's possible, Dylan.
So from their perspective, they feel like they were attacked as soon as they got there.
Yes.
Before they were able to even camp.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're professionals, and you're Dylan, so I'm going to go with what they're saying.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, but the professionals always say, well, there's no forced entry. They must have knew them. Well, the door could have been unlocked. Maybe they made a cat noise. They knew that the homeowner's a cat lover, and that they'll come out and investigate a distressed cat noise.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
Okay. So the investigators' theory was that the couple had been immediately attacked upon pulling into the parking lot. In the beginning, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office held a press conference. The sheriff stated that the couple was most likely victims of a random attack. The shooter had probably caught them off guard. They believed David had been killed first, and Heidi tried to escape after the first shot was fired. However, she didn't get that far. It was speculated the double homicide occurred sometime between 8 to 10 p.m. A search warrant was issued for David's car. Only 3 items were noted as being found in the car. They found a hair, a sweatshirt, and the car itself, but there's no mention of the guitar, which is very strange to me.
Where's all the camping gear?
Well, I don't know, Dylan.
Okay.
I thought they were camping. Maybe they didn't have plans to camp overnight. I don't know.
Maybe he just was going to go, like you said, this is an overlook area. Maybe they were just going to hike some.
Maybe. I thought they were spending the night, but
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe.
No, that's fine. So, okay. Well, that makes more
Now
sense.
you got me feeling like I'm stupid.
Well, no, I don't think you're stupid.
Thanks, Dylan.
No, but
You
I
just
think
ruined everything. This whole episode's trash now. Thanks.
no, but I agree with their theory that it seems like David was shot through the window on the driver's side, and that she obviously would be startled, and your instinct would be to get away, and she tried to run, and then she was shot as well. That sounds like a good theory.
A detail they will not release to the public is Heidi's missing purse. She carried a silver Motorola Razr phone, a Virginia Tech lanyard with her ID, and a credit card. She also had a Sony CyberShot camera in her purse, and all of this is missing
Okay.
from the scene. But again, law enforcement does not make that information public. And honestly, they're pretty scant with details. Like when this happens, they're kind of holding all the information close and not revealing a lot to the public. So then, of course, the public's confused and not really sure what's going on. And should we all be scared? Is there a maniac running around the wood? I mean, there are a lot of questions.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems they theorized, the authorities theorized they're a victim of random violence, likely by someone they didn't know. So, in my mind, the public is in danger.
Right, so little information is given to the public. After collecting evidence from the crime scene, the park was reopened to the public the next day, which seems soon to me. Maybe I'm wrong.
I guess the way they viewed it as whatever happened. It's over now. The person's, gone, but I don't know.
Patrols of the area beefed up. Investigators felt that the suspect might still be around the area or lurking at the crime scene. Law enforcement wanted to track down witnesses, so they started looking for anyone who might have been on Craig Creek Road on the night of August 26th. Someone might have seen David's car along the road, possibly in the parking area. But again, it's off the beaten path. But, there are a lot of visitors to the area. It's a popular spot. And there are folks, it sounds like, who do live in the area. Not very close to the lot, but, it's not like this is a completely untraveled road.
Right, and there's only so many ways in, right? So even if you're 5 miles up the road, you still may see something that is of importance to the investigation.
Law enforcement asked the public to come forward with any information. If a witness had seen the car or heard gunshots that evening, they're just trying to get a lead here. If anyone had been camping in the area that week, it was important to try to speak to everyone who might have been in the area. Because at this point, they really don't have a lot to go on.
Yeah, authorities often will keep some information close for various reasons. One of the most important reasons is to kind of cull out the people, the crank callers, the people who try to insert themselves in investigations or make a false confession. But it sounds to me like in this situation, this case, they didn't have a whole lot of evidence, of information. So for them, they're not able to release much because they really don't have much, and to still be able to kind of keep some of those details out of the public.
One issue the investigators ran into was that on Craig Creek Road, a few miles down the road, there was a shooting range along with a wilderness camp. Gunshots were not uncommon, especially in the summer. People would go shooting down the road.
I'm going to empty a few clips up there at the shooting range.
They learned from the U.S. Forest Service that no camping permits had been issued on the night of the murders. There were no campers at Caldwell Fields that night, at least not on paper. If someone had been camping, it would have been illegally, therefore unlikely that an illegal camper would come forward with information for fear that, they could get into trouble.
Yeah, but obviously they wouldn't surely find someone for illegally camping if they came forward, but I could see people thinking maybe some young kids out there partying or something like that, maybe some underage drinking or drug use going on. So yeah, I could see that hampering.
The nearest residential homes were miles away from Caldwell Fields. U.S. Forest officials informed the sheriff's office that they had issues for years with Virginia Tech students using the area as a party spot, yet there didn't seem to be any indication that a party was happening on that Wednesday evening. By the time our case happened in 2009, there were actually fewer reports of party activity, and we know that our victims were not partying at Caldwell Fields. Like, that wasn't their intention. They weren't kids who partied. So,
right.
It's not like they went up there to drink and smoke some pot or something, right? David and Heidi were taken to the medical examiner's office in Roanoke, which is about 40 miles away. The autopsy reports were released on Saturday, August 29th, just 3 days later. The reports didn't shed any more light on the murders. Investigators also didn't release much to the public, but it was determined that Heidi and David had died from gunshot wounds, which we already knew. Now, in the days following the double homicide, the parking area at Caldwell Fields became a bit of a makeshift memorial to Heidi and David. People brought in flowers. People traveled from all over just to pay their respects to the couple.
Damn.
This is such a shocking story. I mean, it really sent shockwaves through the community.
Yeah, and that's what random violence does. You know, you have a double murder, a young couple like this, and
at a popular spot.
At a popular place. I'm sure many...
where a lot of people go, locals. You get a lot of visitors to the area.
Yeah, I mean, I think of the many places I've, visited over and over again in my life in a very similar kind of environment as this, and it would really freak me out if someone was murdered in a parking lot where I go with my kids or with, friends or family.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The community was hit hard by the double homicide. Just 2 years before, Virginia Tech and the entire community had been deeply traumatized by a mass shooting at the university. Sung Hee Chu, a 23-year-old student, was allegedly battling significant mental health problems. He had purchased a Glock handgun and ammunition online. In total, 32 students and faculty were massacred on campus.
You can buy guns online?
You could back then. So this is a huge, mass shooting on campus. Again, 32 people perished. Sung Hee Chu then took his own life. And a tragic event like this, it lingers for decades.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's
just this ripple effect that is felt throughout the community. It just doesn't go away.
It's a mass trauma event.
And then you have this young couple murdered brutally just 2 years later. And some folks speculated that perhaps that's why the police were kind of keeping the story a little bit like a tight lip, is maybe they just didn't want to, they already knew what the community had gone through and they weren't trying to put any more put any more on this community.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
In January of 2009, a 25-year-old Chinese doctoral student named Zhu Haiyang decapitated 22-year-old Yang Zhen. Zhen had only recently arrived in Virginia to study for a master's in accounting at Virginia Tech. She was from Beijing. Zhen had settled into campus life fairly well and had spent a lot of time hanging out with other international students. Now, initially, Zhu had been helping Zhen around campus, but soon started to have romantic feelings for the young woman. When Zhu asked her out, Zhen rejected him because she already had a boyfriend. Zhu then penned a letter explaining that her boyfriend didn't have the education and background that he had.
Oh, God.
So, he's inferior.
Nobody cares, dude. You're gonna be
Don't you wish your boyfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your boyfriend had a degree like me?
Don't ya?
Don't ya?
Undergraduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm, making a joke here, but this is really fucking terrible what happens.
Well, no, it's once again, this these people who do things like this, they think, I guess it's the narcissism that just because they want to be with you, it's almost like it doesn't matter what your opinion on it is.
If I can't have you, nobody will.
Yeah, well, that mindset right there is, gosh, how many women, especially, not always women, but mostly women, how many women has that led to the end of their life? That one statement right there.
No, it's terrible. Well, on January 21st, Zhu bought an 8-inch butcher knife. He murdered Zen using the knife, a claw hammer, and some other sharp instruments, I think some other knives. The pair were having coffee at Au Bon Pain around 7 p.m. when Zhu attacked her with the knife. He ended up beheading this woman.
In public?
In public at a fucking coffee shop, Dylan.
Jesus.
Yes.
Well, see, okay, gosh, there's so many. So you have the one guy who buys it. Okay, I'm all for people owning guns responsibly. If you want to have an anti-aircraft missile,
two-way, baby,
buy it, right? Because I feel that the responsible citizens who go through the background checks and all that stuff, they're typically not the people who commit crime for the most part.
I tell my ladies, stay strapped.
Now, the school shooter is an anomaly. And like me and you were discussing this, oftentimes that's one of the few times legally bought weapons are used in the commission of a crime, right? Most of the other time, it's criminals not following rules, buying illegal weapons with no background checks. So gun laws and reform and all that's not going to stop that criminal element, right? Now, it could affect, obviously, a school shooter getting access to a firearm, whatever. But I'm all for responsible people having guns.
But the thing is, if you ban guns, they could come in with a knife or an axe, because that's what happens in other countries.
That's what. But
right?
That young person, that young guy buying a gun online, that's a little much. That seems a little iffy to me. I don't know about that. I think it should be in person. It should be proper paperwork.
Well, yeah,
all that.
That's long gone now.
But I'm saying in the same story, you're showing us that remove the gun from the situation. This person wanted to harm this young lady. He still did it in a horrible, brutal fashion.
Yeah.
So it's really not so much the implement that they use. It's the fact that they're willing
If people are going to commit murder, they're going to do it regardless of what weapon they have access to. Like, that's just what's going to happen. They've got it in their brain. They're going to do this thing.
And yeah. Right. I mean, there's proof. There's proof.
Whatever's nearby, really. Okay, so this poor woman, she tried to fight off the attack, which left her with many defensive wounds. And by the time law enforcement arrived, Zhu was covered in blood, holding her head.
Jesus.
He was charged with first-degree murder. Zhu was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, from prison, he still blamed the victim by stating that he had to kill her because she rejected him and he loved her so much. I mean, so basically, like, she asked for it.
Look, I got to say, I'm all for due process and stuff, but if you show up on a crime scene and someone's covered in blood holding the head of their victim, they should be put down right there. They should be shot on sight, dude. That should be the law for that. That is brutal. That's horrible. And that is totally next level depraved.
Bring back the guillotine. I want to see him beheaded in public.
This guy shouldn't be getting to live his life in jail or anywhere.
We have to keep in mind, so we have the mass shooting 2 years before, and then this takes place just 7 months before the murders at Caldwell Fields.
Oh my God.
Right? So again, I mean, this community has gone through a lot.
Right.
A task force made up of multiple agencies, including the Sheriff's Department, the FBI, the Forest Service, State Police, and Campus Police, were formed to work on the case. Virginia Tech offered $10,000 in reward money. Chad Hoyt, a cardiologist who was a family friend of the Metzlers, raised an additional $50,000. So we got a $60,000 reward for information. But with little to go on, the case went cold. In October, law enforcement got its first real lead. Detectives were looking for a silver or gray minivan. A witness had seen the vehicle near the parking area on the night of the murders. The witness had seen the van on Craig Creek Road. nearly at this parking lot on August 26th, just after 8 p.m. So it does sound like it could be a viable lead, but nothing came of it. They could not locate this van. I mean, and how common is a silver or gray minivan?
Very.
Yeah.
Well, minus actual tag number, which this is one of those times where you see something later on, it turns out it might be important. But when at the time of when you're seeing it, you're not going to be like, hey, I need to write the tag. Now, I've done this, actually. I've seen what I considered was suspicious anything. I've written tag numbers down.
Of course, because you're a crotchety old man and you can't wait to fucking report it, Karen.
No. But I'm just like, bro, they're a weird spot. Is that bag over in the ditch a body? I'm not sure. And I'll write the number. I've found old tag numbers in my car. Glove box and such when I clean my car.
No,
yeah.
when I see something strange, trust me, I'm like observing it.
I got
I'm
make
taking
and
it
model,
all in.
yeah.
I'll even make a little notes in my phone.
Right.
Like this kind of car, what time it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Creeping, looking suspicious. Yeah. Like there's that weird murder car that drives through our neighborhood sometimes.
Oh, my God.
Is it like an old Crown Vic?
It's old Crown Vic.
The bumpers are falling off of it. They've been like duct taped and like ratchet strapped on.
The trunk is always ajar.
And always open.
Open with a ratchet strapped down, and there's always various things
In the trunk.
I'm not sure if this person scrap metals or what.
The windows are completely blacked out. Like you cannot see who's in the car at all.
No, I've seen the guy.
I have not.
Head to toe tattoos. The guy looks scary.
Okay.
Like, he looks very mean.
So now you're judging him because he has tattoos?
It's not the tattoos. It's the cold eyes. No, look.
Oh, so I've got a spiderweb tattoo that makes me like a prison inmate?
No, you don't have...
Like I'm a gangbanger now?
You don't have insane look-through-me eyes.
Are you sure?
Usually. Now, this guy looks like a scary individual.
Just a couple days a month.
And I'm not an easily intimidated guy. I'm not.
Well, every time we see it, we're just like, this person's up to no good.
Yeah, they're definitely up to no good.
They drive so slow. They creep along.
And they're not going to work.
The
Let's
other
tell you
day, I was walking Rufus, and the car, crept up beside us and was just driving so slow. I mean, it's so slow that I was like, this motherfucker could open up this car door and, try to snatch me, pull me in.
Right.
But then I'm like, what would he want to do with an old woman and my barking-ass dog?
Well, yeah, they're going to be like, oh, God, get your dog, get out of
here. And I also carry a knife in my little dog purse.
Well, they made a mistake. They grab your little crazy ass.
Yeah, because like I said, I keep a knife in my little dog bag.
Right.
And I just be itching to stab somebody with that shit. It's really sharp. I'm like, this is a little poker. I can't wait till me stab somebody.
It's a little pig poker.
Yeah. Bleed, motherfucker, bleed. No.
So they have the one lead. Basically goes nowhere. Is that it? Do they have any more luck, or is that basically...
Well, Dylan, by the new year, investigators were again asking the public for help solving the double homicides. Though thousands of tips had come in previously, nothing had helped bring them closer to solving the case. Again, they have no suspect. They have no description of a suspect. They don't have a good vehicle. I mean, they really don't have any information. And what's so interesting to me, Dylan, is this is in 2009, and just think of the advancements that we've had since 2009 as far as technology, trail cams, ring cams. People have dash cams on their cars.
Right.
You can't go anywhere without a camera.
No, but everybody has a phone. Everybody's recording all the time, and that just wasn't the case in 2009.
Well, and oftentimes, these trail cams, people are not even aware. They're unawares that there are trail cams set up, but a lot of times they're pointed out to the road. I mean, they're they catch a lot of shit.
Well, they do. They're typically very low profile, and they're usually set up in a manner to be where you won't see them. You know what I mean? They're set up. They're a lot of times camo printed. They blend in with a tree or whatever. And a lot of times people don't realize that indeed they were captured or they passed trail cams. So, yeah, this is a tricky one. And I don't have a lot of faith of there being a break in the case file. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't think they have a lot.
Well, it is a cold case.
Well, no, yeah, but a lot of times, but they did get many, many tips. And maybe one day someone can go through the case file and one of those tips could break loose.
So, okay, then another tragedy strikes on April 5th of 2010. What is that like? Not even 7-8 months later?
Virginia can't catch a break during this period.
27-year-old Timothy Davis and 18-year-old Christina Floyd were parked at Rock Point Overlook in Augusta County, Virginia. This is just off the Blue Ridge Parkway. The overlook provided a beautiful view, like a sunset view over the Shenandoah Valley. Sounds gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm going to mark this spot down. This is a place we need to go. Out of nowhere, a man pulled up next to them in a car. The man pulled out a shotgun and fired on the pair. He shot Timothy first in the upper body area. Timothy was able to get out of the vehicle, but he was so confused by this gunshot and just disoriented that he fell off the overlook 150 feet down to the bottom.
Oh my God. A shotgun blast up close like that, I could see that. Well, if anybody pulls up and starts shooting, you're going to be like, what the hell? But a shotgun blast would be extra disorienting, very loud,
yes.
lots of smoke.
Yes.
You've taken got all the pellet, depending on what kind of shot. Shotguns just make my skin kind of crawl. Just the thought about being shot with one. You know what I mean?
I think Ice Cube said shotgun shells is bad for your health.
They are indeed bad for your health.
Now, Christina was shot in the passenger seat, like in the upper body as well. After shooting Christina, the man kind of put down the gun and started walking toward her. Then he started picking up these rocks and pelting them at her head.
What the hell?
She ended up with skull fractures from the rocks. Her finger was also broken.
Did she survive?
Christina wrestled with the attacker despite these injuries. They fought over the gun. The man was able to pop off another shot, missed her, but then ran to his car and drove away quickly. Now, Christina was able to walk to the main road for help with these injuries.
She's such a badass.
Yeah, I know, right?
Dude, she fought. She was like, fuck you, dude.
When Beyonce wrote that song Survivor, she was talking about Christina.
No, and so this guy...
This is badass.
This guy wasn't hitting her with tiny pieces of gravel.
No,
these were rocks.
Yeah.
And after being shot with a shotgun and physically in an altercation with this guy, and she's pretty much scared him off, right?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and then wow, that's amazing.
Fortunately, she was taken to safety. Timothy was miraculously still alive when first responders reached him at the bottom of this overlook. He was taken to the University of Virginia Hospital in Charlottesville. It was touch and go with Timothy for a few days. Central Virginia was once again stunned by the attack. People were now afraid to visit the Blue Ridge Parkway, afraid to go outside, outdoors, to
Can't blame them.
Recreation spots, the National Forest. And the Shenandoah Valley is gorgeous and very popular. But you have people afraid to go visit. And this is early spring. It's April. So that's typically, probably when you start getting an influx of visitors to the area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, a tip came in via Crime Stoppers. Whatever information was given would only be known by someone involved in this crime or a person very close to the assailant.
So the information had to come from the assailant.
Or someone
even if it was secondhand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Augusta County Sheriff's Office came up with a suspect. 56-year-old Ralph Jackson, who lived only about 10 miles away from the overlook. At his house in Stewart's Draft, law enforcement executed a search warrant. They seized a 20-gauge Harrington and Richardson shotgun that was used in the attack on Christina and Timothy. They also located ammunition that matched, what was used to shoot this couple.
Yeah, they can break the pellets down in a shotgun and get a chemical makeup of the pellets, and that's pretty good science on matching that to be able to say it's from the same batch of ammo.
Christina had been able to give a description of the car, and it matched the one owned by Ralph Jackson. Once in custody, Jackson readily admitted his involvement in the shootings. Ralph Jackson could provide no motive for the attack. He basically told cops, it was just something I did.
God, What the hell, Ralph?
Well, how about just like don't do that?
Don't do that. If you want to shoot somebody, shoot yourself.
Timothy did not survive his injuries and ended up passing away on April 9th. At this time, Ralph Jackson was charged with first-degree murder. He had previously been charged with attempted capital murder, 2 counts of using a firearm in commission of a felony, but this charge was upgraded. He took a plea deal in March of 2011 and was given a life sentence for the murder plus 35 years.
Why is he allowed to plead?
Now, Ralph, again, he confesses fully. He admits everything, but still offers no motive. Like, even during this plea hearing, when he's talking about what he did and he's fessing up to it and admitting everything, he still doesn't have a reason why. Just, well, I don't know, I just did it.
Okay.
I was just sucking on a chili dog down a Tasty Freeze and got this idea. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, there has to be a reason.
Well, there doesn't have to be a reason.
Well, there does, though. You don't just go kill people just cause.
Well, I mean, I guess because he wanted to do it is
So, like, canceled your favorite TV show? I don't know.
It's all the reason we're going to get out of this guy. So I hope he doesn't even have money on his books.
I hope somebody pelts a rock at Ralph's head.
And I hope that he doesn't even get commissary in jail and he has to eat nothing but prison food.
I hope somebody shivs him and he has to, like, eat his own turd off the floor.
Yeah.
In a bathroom.
That'd still be too good for this guy.
Of course, this leads investigators in Montgomery County to take a look at Jackson as a possible suspect in the murders of Heidi and David. The 2 shootings happened within months apart. The distance between the 2 crimes was about 2 hours. But though he was a good suspect, Ralph has never been charged with the murders of Heidi and David. It wasn't until March of 2012 that the sheriff's office finally released more information to the public. At a press conference, newly elected Sheriff Tommy Witt told reporters they'd recovered DNA from a fingerprint found on evidence at the crime scene. Detectives were obtaining DNA samples from residents and visitors known to frequent the area. The DNA was also sent off for testing, but yielded no match. Ralph Jackson, not a match, so he is ruled out as a suspect. It was finally released that the couple had been shot with a .30 caliber rifle.
Okay.
Is that a big rifle? I mean, is that a big?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it sounds big.
Well, yeah. I mean, most rifles are pretty significant round. I'm no gun guy. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just look at them.
It just sounds like a big gun.
I just like even handguns. I look at them and I judge them by how badass they look. You know?
Like a dirty, hairy gun.
Well, no, I mean, yeah.
Well, no, we were gun shopping the other day, and they had like a pearl-handled revolver.
Like an Old West revolver?
Yes, and I want it, and I want to wear it and be like, meh,
You're going to open carry your revolver?
Only if I can wear a 10-gallon hat when I do it.
No, but like the semi-automatics and stuff, some of them are all tactical and cool and got like...
17 in the clip, 1 in the hole.
Yeah.
About to make some bodies turn cold, Dylan.
Well, no, just some of the revolvers are just look bad. They're all meaty and clunky looking, and they just look badass.
I always like the little ones. I want like a little Derringer that I can hide in my garter belt when I work at the saloon.
Dude,
I have to take out a minor or a dirty cowboy.
That one was an actual full-on mini revolver, and it had like 5 shots, like a 22 long rifle.
So tiny, it was like. You could hide it in the palm of your hands.
It was the tiniest little gun I've ever seen.
It was so cute. I need it. Okay, so after they announced, 30 caliber rifle, they also finally tell the public that the killer had stolen Heidi's purse.
Okay.
And the contents of the purse.
See, I don't know why they kept this. I understand, but I think this hurt the investigation, actually.
Some speculated that a serial killer was responsible for the murders and had taken her purse with these personal items as a trophy, while others believe the killer had been local, knowing the Caldwell Fields area well.
Well, I feel like that is that's the case, honestly. Though a place like that, you will get random visitors from outside the area.
Yeah, but it has to be somebody who knows, like, kind of the time...
That it's not busy.
Well, it makes me wonder if this also was just like a crime of opportunity.
Right. that they're there and they just happen to see this young couple.
And they'd been itching to do some bad thing. And it just was like, oh, this is the time and place right now.
So you murdered 2 people, you steal her purse, and it's really not a score because it sounds like they never used a credit card. She didn't have a bunch of, anything in the purse. I guess you got a camera and her phone, but I don't know. It's such an idiotic reason to harm people.
Yeah, I mean, there was also rumors or speculation that maybe the couple had, drove up on like a drug deal happening in the parking lot.
That could be possible.
The reward topped out at $100,000 after the FBI added more money, but there was still no viable evidence or tips, no suspect in the case. After years without answers, a group of agents with the Virginia State Police began reviewing the cold case in 2019. A website was set up where people could learn more about Heidi and David. Users could also find an online tip section and remain anonymous if they submitted a tip. The investigative team believed there were people with knowledge of the crime that have not yet come forward. Special Agent Scott Mitchell said, quote, "There are relatives or associates of the offender who have learned concerning things in the intervening years or have held on to secrets all this time."
Wow.
And I believe that's probably true.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always somebody out there who knows something.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when and if they decide to tell what they know.
Oftentimes, people can't keep something like this to themselves. You have these people who they think they're some kind of super criminal and they want to brag to their homeboys or whatever. Or try to impress people, say they get locked up for something else, tell someone in jail what this other thing they did and got away with. But sometimes someone commits a crime like this completely by themselves and they never tell anybody.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to think I'm assuming it's a he. Could be a she.
Right.
Right? I don't know. This person takes Heidi's purse. It's possible that if this person is married or lives with someone, that a spouse could have come across this new camera
Well, that's possible.
Or this lanyard and been like, who does this belong to?
Right, but
I've never seen this before. So,
right.
I mean, it could click that hey, wait a minute. It was around that time he brought home this camera.
I mean, you'd have to be a real fucking idiot, which oftentimes criminals are.
Well, let's
to
be honest.
keep her lanyard with her ID card.
We talk about a lot of fucking idiots, so yeah.
No, it's true. It could have been a trophy, right? You could have kept that as a trophy. This could be someone who's some kind of a serial killer,
Well, that is one theory, Dylan.
Now, I did look up a .30 caliber round. It's stronger than most handguns, but also lighter and less powerful than most of your rifle rounds.
Interesting.
So it actually kind of falls in between the handgun and your larger rifles.
So I'm wondering, is that a round that one might use for hunting or
it looked like
more
mostly
home defense?
It looked like hunting for the most
squirrel
part.
hunting or something.
But there's also, you'll get a lot of these hybrid rifles or guns that are kind of like the carbines and stuff like that. They kind of have the assault style, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of smaller with a shorter stock. I mean, yeah, you can get things like that.
Well, hopefully with advancements to DNA and forensic testing, there is a possibility this case could be solved in the future.
Well, I mean, we always wish any cold case will be resolved, but the families deserve to know what happened to their loved ones and that community after everything they've been through there in Virginia. Certainly, to a degree, deserves to know what happened to this young couple.
It's really such a sad case, and you have these two, they sound like beautiful souls, very loving, giving, kind, hard workers, with a bright future ahead of them. Everybody speculated that they would get married.
Right.
They seemed like they were that couple that would survive college and go on to get married. She was pre-med. I mean, it's just it's really sad.
Well, yeah, I'm sure she could have helped and touched so many lives.
Yeah.
Even no matter what area of medicine she went into. Who knows? She could have, with her biochemistry interest in things like that, she could have went into research and maybe.
Or with his missionary background, they could have gone on to do missionary work together. I mean, there's really I guess they had boundless possibilities.
Yeah, she could have messed around and cured cancer or something.
And so sad to know that someone took their lives, and seemingly for no reason.
It's always the good ones.
All right, Dylan. Well, thank you for sitting down with me today to discuss this cold case.
And thanks for having me. And as usual, thank you, listeners. We love you so much.
Head on over to Patreon. We are dropping our West Memphis 3 third episode. We're getting into the investigation, Dylan. It is going to be a wild ride.
And this is no lies. We got it. She has it ready. We are going to get it put down and ready for that incredible series.
Holidays be damned.
It's time.
Busy little schedules be damned.
Time to get back to work.
Time to get back to work, Dylan. See you later.
Bye.